Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Lens Life. My name is Phil Johnson, and I am so excited to meet someone who I ran across on TikTok, Dan Kading, with Brand with Dan. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I, I'm just, when I first thought up of Lens Life, this was kind of my hope was to really expand to all different areas and have a bunch of different subjects. And really excited to talk today with you about, 5 different myths in social media and performing on there. But before we get into it, I'd love to just talk about the impact of glass. And, the way I met you was you popped up on my feed on TikTok and like we connected. And I'm just continually blown away by the community on TikTok. And, it's just a beautiful thing. Like I didn't know you. I saw you pop up every now and then, and I was just like, you know what? This seems like a really cool dude. I'm just gonna like reach out, and then before I know it, you and I are on a Zoom call.
Yeah, right. It's kind of mind blowing how quickly that happens too. And it seems like the social side of social media might be having a little bit more of a rebirth, or we got so tired of the the bad side of it that it's like now that we can find connections within a specific place like TikTok, where everybody's trying to grow and learn new things and take advantage of the organic algorithm and all that. Yeah, it blows me away too, how often this happens, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. Meeting people all the time. I started doing this like a year ago, and I think I've met a good like 20 or 30 people in the exact same way, and we all mutually support each other. And yeah, I don't know. There's something about following photographers on TikTok too. It just seems like I always get a lot of really great videos when I do that. So
Yeah.
always a good sucker for a photography page. So
And I mean, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter, Instagram. So I, I'm not really heavily into the social media, and I really should be. Um, and on Tik, excuse me, on TikTok, there are different talk worlds that you can be put into. I feel like the one that I'm in is so positive, and I really feed off of it in terms of the support. And I love just seeing happy stories, encouraging things, inspiring things. I forgot to say that Lens Life is about the impact of glass, and one of my hopes is to educate, motivate, and inspire people. And I mean, those things happen for me on TikTok. Like every time I'm scrolling through, like it's just really a breath of fresh air, I think. Do you,
yeah, yeah,
do you
absolutely.
do you kind of are you in the same talk? I know people land in different places. I guess it's based on what you like and stuff.
Yeah, I think that the community building aspect of TikTok is really on point. And coming to it, I didn't know what to expect from a LinkedIn background, where you have a lot of entrepreneurial types and business owners that are just actively trying to combine their industry and their thoughts and their personal brand all at once. And it was cool because I came to TikTok and found a lot of that same sort of stuff, but in like a very video, auditory, new age way. I mean, at the end of the day, Twitter and LinkedIn, it's still text on a page, but it seems like with something like TikTok, we're all forced into a medium where we kind of have to follow those rules. Otherwise, TikTok doesn't really. The community dictates the content. That's how I've described it before. Where TikTok says, "I want a really good hook, and I want music, and I want all the edits and the captions and everything else." On LinkedIn, you can type something out, and you're pretty much golden as long as it's good to read. So
Right.
anyways, I found that to be, it was very uncomfortable at first, and yeah, now it just feels very natural to make a video, and I couldn't be more grateful for the progress I've made. But yeah, and it's also just a ton of fun. It's so engaging every time you're on the feed. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but it works.
Yeah, and I think one of the allures is that it forces out your personality, and so those things are can't help but come through.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the positives. So, I mean, in terms of it, impact of glass, that's definitely been one for me, is, making these connections. And I think that's just so great. I mean, do you have, before we kind of get into the main topic today, which is, 5 myths about social media, what have been some impacts of glass for you that you've run across?
Yeah, so I mean, all the way back to the nostalgia days of having my camcorder. I'm so grateful I was born like right when I was, because if it was like 6 or 7 years later, I probably wouldn't have had that same experience. But yeah, having the camcorder, watching Jackass and all the famous idiots on MTV back when MTV was actually really cool and like
Yeah.
actually with the culture. Yeah, making videos with my friends. I mean, we started a little skateboard company, and we would make skate videos. And I got a little dinky fisheye lens for the
Right.
front of my camcorder that spun on, and it had like a giant circle. Like you could tell it was a fisheye, but you could tell I wasn't that cool. So, but yeah, and I mean, just from that, and like just doing terribly stupid stuff and filming it, and then eventually we started using Windows Movie Maker and like piecing together like the worst looking stuff ever, but it was so much fun. And then yeah, put it on YouTube back when you'd have to click the play button and wait a few minutes for it to load. And yeah, I mean, it was just so rugged and like, but it was so much fun. So yeah, I mean, like we also didn't have our phones. We couldn't immediately click post and share
Right.
things immediately. So yeah, we would upload the stuff to my computer, and we'd always be in front of my little laptop, like editing stuff. And anyway, so it was a blast. And then yeah, I mean, like that's the nostalgic stuff. And then like nowadays, I mean, just building my business online and trying to find new clients to work with. I find that being on TikTok really helps people get to know my brand, hear my voice, understand my humor and the way my mind works, and my creativity. And yeah, this last week got 2 new clients through TikTok to do LinkedIn work. So I mean, it's not what people think is going to happen, but it totally is happening. I mean, like TikTok people want to grow on other platforms too. So yeah, it's been great. Eventually end up in the DMs, and they're like, I'm interested in LinkedIn too. I know I need to be on there. So the TikTok helped them get to know me, and then we were able to transition that rapport over to a totally different ball game. So yeah, that's been the impact recently. But I mean, just yeah, from what I was saying before, just learning how to make TikToks has actually improved my copywriting on LinkedIn, because I've gotten better at creating hooks, and I've been pushed to actually make it a little bit more of a punch right at the beginning. So anyways, everything kind
Yeah.
of you learn a little bit here, and it somehow works in a place you wouldn't expect it to. So that's been really fun.
I mean, that's amazing. 2 clients, and you didn't pay anything to get them. You just
Yeah,
putting your
yeah,
stuff
the
out there.
highlight. Yeah.
And I mean, what's amazing is how many specific niches there are out there. And I don't know about you, but I've spent a lot of money from TikTok,
hmm
seeking expert advice in different areas. I mean, I can't believe it, but I mean, I've run across like Pinterest experts. Um, I just saw a guy who is a high school teen life coach. I mean,
Wow.
how cool is that?
Yeah,
Like,
that's insane.
and I just wrote on his page. I gave him
Sorry.
a comment about like, you know, I didn't even know this was a thing. I appreciate you. Like, thanks for doing what you do. Like, it's so cool. Like, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
there's so many specific things that are really cool, and they're reaching huge audiences. I mean, that guy was getting 800,000 views. Like, it's just
Yeah. Which one? Which one was that? Was that the
the,
Pinterest one?
the teen life coach or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
800,000 views. Crazy.
I've got someone who I follow on my page. Um, I think her name is Sam in Boston and Florida. She's a real estate agent, and she got a buyer through TikTok. I mean, that, like, as a real estate agent, to get that
Yeah.
type of lead, and she has closed business with this person, so receiving thousands of dollars, like, it's awesome. I just
Yeah.
freaking
That's wicked cool. Yeah.
so cool. Um, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what your special niche is.
Yeah, for sure. So Daniel Kading, you can, yeah, find me at Brand with Dan pretty much anywhere. And yeah, no, what I do is I basically work with LinkedIn creators who are trying to grow their following, grow their influence. LinkedIn, just like TikTok, has a really favorable algorithm.
Mhm.
I'm feeling like I don't want to say super organic anymore. I just want to say favorable.
Okay.
Just because of the simple fact that oftentimes you do have to do a lot more work than people try to lead on, where they're like, yeah, you get on TikTok and you post one video and you're going to blow up. Same with LinkedIn. You still have to do everything a certain way, and it is favorable to that regard. But anyways, I work with LinkedIn creators and business owners who are just trying to create that same organic reach, basically orient themselves as a thought leader within their niche. And I help them work on their branding and their messaging. I help them develop their profile to make it basically a landing page for their personal brand, to drive a great call to action, that the whole 9 yards, develop a great headline and a banner that, it all works in a similar fashion to that of like a landing page. And then beyond that, I help them develop content. And, I saw this gap where people didn't exactly know how to write content. They didn't know the tips to creating long form and curating it. And also beyond that, just how to engage on LinkedIn in a way that is beneficial towards growth and community building and the stuff we've been talking about, the mutual support that people see. That's a strategy at the end of the day. And it's a very wholesome one that's based on, a really great camaraderie type effect between everybody. So anyways, yeah, I saw a gap. No one was teaching anybody how to write content, so I decided to try to do that, and been slowly building for the last couple of months, and very excited to see where I'm at. And it's building momentum right now, and just so excited to be building my business, and I hope I can sustain it for quite a while and turn it into even more. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. My niche is LinkedIn creators who are trying to grow organically. That'd be essentially my niche. And then just social media tips in general. I like just exposing stuff. I'm like a vigilante.
And in the LinkedIn, so I mean, like, what would the different types of clients, would it be like just someone who's looking for a job, a small business owner, like sort of, I really don't know on the LinkedIn side. So
No worries.
what does
Yeah.
that look
Yeah.
like?
LinkedIn is often known as the online resume, and it's usually framed as the place for job seekers and people that are looking to hire. And that may have been the origin of LinkedIn, but over the last few years, it's had a huge explosion of creation, and people are doing a ton with written content. The cool thing is that people come to LinkedIn to learn and grow their businesses and grow their careers. So a lot of people come into the space with the attitude that they want to basically increase their frequency and do the things that we're talking about. And so the typical person that comes to me is someone who is in the B2B space and they're trying to grow their business. LinkedIn is known for being that spot where you can actually talk directly to startup CEOs and founders, and have that direct conduit, to specific groups of people. And then you can create content to leverage yourself as an expert, and then the organic reach beyond what happens with just your content. It's amazing how many people can become connected to that. One comment goes so far on LinkedIn. So I basically just help people scale their businesses with that content and create buzz around their brand, essentially. All
Uh,
for free, other than the time they put into it and what they pay me, of course. But yeah.
I'll have to chat with you, because I made an account and I looked there and it almost looked like Facebook. I was like, what is going on? Compared to what it was, I don't know, the last time I was on there, which was several years ago, where it was just like
Oh yeah,
a
yeah,
profile. Now it's all this social involved in the LinkedIn. So that's pretty cool, man.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump into, well, first off, dude, you're repping it hard, so I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah.
go,
There you go.
and so let's bring
Can't.
up
I
here.
literally just opened it, so it was meant to be.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for
Yeah.
the
Very,
link.
very, very comfortable shirts. Definitely buy some. Yep.
Awesome. Well,
Great
yeah,
cause.
let's jump into it. 5 myths of social media. What do you got for us?
All right. Let's gab a little bit on this. So, yeah, the first one. I feel like I've been making a lot of content about this recently, but the myth that you have to post all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I think that there does need to be consistency wherever you're at, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or something audio like Clubhouse or LinkedIn or TikTok. I think you do need to be there, but we can't all be Gary Vaynerchuk at the end of the day. That guy has a team helping him, and he still does not sleep but like 3 or 4 hours a night. So just let that sink in for a second. And I truly think that we all need to find what works best for us. And for me, that's like making 2 TikToks every other day at this point. I tried to make six and batch all my content, and I really felt like I was stretching myself too much, and I was even more tired from all of it, and I didn't feel like I was enjoying it as much. And so yeah, I pulled back. It's like, that may work great for the the top influencers, but it doesn't have to be your process. And as long as you're doing enough to give the algorithm enough to keep you riding on that wave of, on LinkedIn, it is if you post once per day or once per week, you're 4 times more, 40%, or sorry, your content is 4 times more effective than someone that doesn't. And
Okay.
so, yeah, like little things like that. So at least post once a week on LinkedIn, and then so on and so forth. But I think you get burned out quickly, and that's when it becomes really toxic and not enjoyable. So yeah, find what works for you. As long as you're creating, as long as it's valuable and it creates an impact, or it entertains people or it inspires them, I think you're pretty much golden. So yeah, that's the first myth.
On that point, well, first off, I need to say I had never heard about Gary Vee until I joined TikTok,
Mm.
and I love him.
I found him on LinkedIn. He's a LinkedIn guy. He's huge on it. Yeah.
I also love the people who make fun of him on TikTok. Have you seen them?
No, I'm sure there's plenty though.
Their imitations of him are like spot on, but it's
Oh, I bet that's so good. Oh, I
oh,
didn't know that existed.
I will
Yeah.
find some and tag you because it is amazing. But honestly, he was instrumental for me in creating the e-course that I have. Where I was in my head. I had lots of ideas. I was concerned about the quality. I was like producing it
He
in
was
my
like,
head.
"You better just get it together, huh?" Like he's
Well,
staring at you,
yeah, I
screaming
mean,
at you through the screen. Yeah.
it was just like this Nike just do it moment for me where I was like, yeah, like what am I waiting for? I just need to do it.
Yeah.
And I was a spectator on TikTok for a long time. And then I was like, no, like screw it, like what I have to say I think is cool, and I'm just gonna start to say it and stop thinking about it. And there's just that internal judgment in your mind of
Mhm.
well, it's not good enough or whatever. And he would, he just says, don't be that judge, right? Don't
Mhm.
assume what people are going to like and not like because you do not know. And my biggest video has hit 20,000 views, and it's not what I do. Like it's just this random video. So the algorithm chose to ride that one, and it hasn't like made me famous or anything, but I wouldn't have gotten 20,000 views if I hadn't made that thing that it was in my brain. So
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. And there's so many key things that he has said. I think it's because he's so quotable, and it's
yeah.
so and his language is very relatable. He's just a Jersey boy screaming at you. Like cussing. Like it's just
I love that.
it threw me off at first. I was like, "Who's this asshole?" Like I couldn't believe it. And then I immediately was just like, "Okay, all right, he does care, and he does have some good points." And
Yeah.
the big one for me was like, "You're saying no before you even giving yourself a chance to say yes." And I just remember that so vividly. And I used to go on like walks, and I just like listen to a Gary Vee like live keynote speech or something. I just get so pumped up and come back and like work on all my stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's definitely like at the forefront of that hustle culture. And yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, I think for me, Gary Vee was the push that got me started as well. So I think
That's
he's
cool.
kind of that initial spark that most people need is that guy for sure.
We need to. I'll tag him for the preview of this. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll.
I would love to watch that because I mean he is definitely. I'm surprised like SNL hasn't like done something or like he's very. He'd be very easy to do an impersonation of for sure.
Oh,
Cool. You want me to move on to the next one?
yeah, let's do it.
Sweet, sweet. All right. So I might have already kind of hit this, I guess, but Yeah, you can just jump on an organic platform and blow up with minimal effort. I guess I kind of already talked about this, but yeah, I mean, you do have to follow a specific set of rules. You do have to create content, appropriate for that platform. When like if you get on LinkedIn and what I used to do is when I first got on TikTok, I started just repurposing my LinkedIn feed, the stuff I wrote in my LinkedIn feed. I would just read it into a video, and I
Yeah.
thought I got this. I'm like my stuff is great on LinkedIn. People on TikTok are gonna love it, and I got nothing but crickets. And like, I mean, it was more engagement than I expected, but like I very quickly realized I needed to switch up the way I did stuff to make it work on TikTok. So I was very stubborn at the beginning, and as soon as I started listening to the influencers and the experts about creating a hook the way that they do, and I started saving some of those videos, like create this hook, this hook, this hook, try them out, see what you think. I tried one and I got like 1,400 views and like 160 likes, and I'm like, wow, okay, so maybe I should just like remove the ego and start making these videos the way these guys are telling me to do it. So yeah. So anyways, I think you have the organic aspect, but when it comes to a very visual place, very photographic, very auditory place that allows you such a quick, slide it out of the way type action. Yeah, those first 3 seconds are so impactful. So yeah, no, it just, and then people complain. They're like, that platform is garbage. I didn't take off. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not going to, if it gave it to every single person, then, nobody would really care at that point. So anyways, I think, those were sort of the main points about that. Yeah. Just, it takes more than just minimal effort for sure. As you know, and I know for sure.
Well, I think there's like this. I feel and I've experienced kind of that there's this gamblers like casino feel to it, where there are those who hit the jackpot on the first thing. So there,
Uh,
I think some do think that, because it does happen that some people put up one video and they go crazy or whatever, but they also like hook you, right? So I've heard all sorts of different crazy things, but like one in every seven will get pushed out or something like that. So you're always kind of creating to get that next ride on the slot machine or whatever. It's just all very interesting, but for sure
yeah, that's a great way to put it.
I think the takeaway is, don't judge it, keep putting it out there, and yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I already kind of touched on it, but yeah, I think very very important to remember that no matter what. So the third one, the quality of the video matters. I think that we've learned very quickly that is not entirely true with TikTok and the top influencers that I see, the top people creating and really getting so much engagement are they don't have a ring light. They're filming and they're laying on their bed, just like talking into their camera. And this is a nuance that I had recently, but for me, I think what makes TikTok so magical is that it's sort of like a portal into someone else's life.
Yeah.
You can put a tweet out, but there is no real connection to where you are and what you're doing and what you're wearing and what kind of, it's just so raw,
Yeah.
and I think that is what makes it so relatable, and the more that feels refined or like scripted or whatever, I mean, I'm sure it depends on the account, but the less refined that feels, I think the more it gets boosted, the more it matters to people, and the more they're able to resonate with it. So yeah.
I mean, it's like an intimate view into someone's life. And the last guest I had, we were just talking about, you're a LinkedIn guy, I'm a photographer, but at the end of the day, like, I really care about that other person, and who they are and having an impact on that person. And I also don't just take photography. I'm a dad, I'm a musician, I'm, all these different things. And I think if people are able to see that about you, they might connect with you more. So the more you kind of let those things in, the more, and Gary Vee has talked about that too. He loves going to garage sales and
Oh yeah.
collect, sports and collecting cards and stuff like that. So he's really passionate. So I think that's a great thing to bring to your business, is your passion for other things that shows like your human side, for people to get drawn into you and what you offer. Do you agree on that?
Oh yeah. When it comes to helping people write their content, I mean, they're like, I just don't know how to talk about any of the stuff. Like, who cares? Or it's like, I know we keep coming back to Gary Vee, but he was talking about, he's like, do you ever wonder, like, when you're on the freeway and you're in one of those long pile ups, and then like you get to the spot where it finally breaks through and you look and there's nothing going on? He's like, the only reason the car stopped was because everybody wanted to look and see what was happening. He's like, people are nosy. They want to know what's happening in your life, because that stuff that, they want to see the car accident. Like, what happened? Where did they go from? Which direction?
Right.
I don't know if we're just ingrained with that, or if we learn it through society or whatever, but that was such a fascinating thing to me. And I'm like, yeah, I should talk about my daughter. I should talk about my years of poetry and being up on a stage, and all that stuff that maybe I thought didn't relate to marketing absolutely has everything to do with it. And
Yeah.
even like skateboarding and stuff like that. So totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think bringing that personal side in, that's what everybody loves. And you
Yeah.
can talk about the other stuff too.
That's great. Yeah, for sure. I mean, just this last yesterday, I was in a house, and the house smelled really bad, and it was from a like a plug-in Scentsy warmer or whatever, and it gave me a migraine after
Oh,
like
wow.
30 minutes of being in the house. And the cover of my video was like me like this, looking like garbage, and I did this title like "Don't Be Stinky" or something, and it got a lot of engagement. And I was like, I felt like really sick and nauseous and stuff like that. But it struck up this great conversation in the engagement, and it was like really cool. Like, it was awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, it made for a real moment, and
Yeah.
yeah, the process of you doing what you're doing. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's not all rainbows, right? So people
exactly.
enjoy that.
Yeah.
Video isn't the future. Yeah, I mean, I know these are all kind of in that same wheelhouse, but yeah, I mean, TikTok has completely revolutionized, all these other platforms, and Pinterest, and even Snapchat has gone after it with their Spotlight feature, and now Facebook has their own Reels version, and YouTube has Shorts, and everybody's creating their own TikTok faux creation. I think there are always going to be places for the Twitters and the LinkedIn, and I think that as time goes on, you're going to see some of them decide that maybe going full video for their platform wasn't the best, but I don't know. It just seems like as time goes on, people don't even really want to type a whole lot anymore. They would rather send a video message or something like that, or speed things up by just sharing it directly from their computer to someone, as opposed to writing out an email or whatever. I'm working with a client right now, and he oftentimes doesn't even respond with his typing. He'll just send me a quick video of himself on his camera
Yeah.
talking to me really quick, and then send it off. And I'm like, wow, okay, that was simple, So it seems like no matter what we do, we're moving in that direction. So I think
Yeah.
it's absolutely false to say that it isn't the future.
Yeah, and I think it's different for different industries. In real estate, for me, like the companies that have been pushing it for many many years, and agents don't really want to grab hold of it. But I think it's just so important. Like I was telling you, just one TikToker got a buyer from TikTok just by being who she is. I've got a good friend in Florida, and he's kind of going through those myths about the quality, and he's like, do I have to hire someone? I was like, dude, you have what you need in your hand. Like this,
Yeah, yeah,
you have
yeah.
it, and you can do it with that. And he's like, what do I talk about? Just talk about you. Like, let people know who you are. And because he's a cool guy, he's got other passions. He's into boats, and has a family and this and that. Just talk about that stuff, and people will connect with you. And then all of a sudden you're listing their house. um,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and so I think a lot of these things that you're talking about tie together. That, does quality count? Yeah, it does, but it also doesn't. Like, use what you have. And if you've got the money to hire a professional to make all your videos, that's going to make you stand out, and that's great. But you don't need to do that. So I'm trying to remember what your last point was. What's number 4?
Video isn't the
Yeah. So I think it
future. Yeah.
is the future for sure. Absolutely. So yeah. What else?
Awesome.
What's the last
one? I got the last one because it's about my spot, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just a resume. I know I touched on this. I guess I primed myself already, but yeah, LinkedIn is a lot more than just a spot to put your experience and update it every so often. You can insert GIFs. You can create slideshows of photo reels, just like the same ones you see on Instagram. Video content is of course possible, but yeah, just having a written format where you can create some context and you can share a big idea up to 3,000 characters worth if you really wanted to, and have people actually read the entire thing. It's kind of insane that you get such a strong attention span with people on LinkedIn. It is short still. You still have to capture people's attention, but to get an audience that's captured, that's willing to come in and read a whole slew of your thoughts over and over again, it blows my mind. So yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit with the amount of reach you can get, and just the hyper focused nature of people on LinkedIn. So yeah, just wanted to plug my mothership. Everything I do kind of leaks out from LinkedIn. It starts there, and I'll repurpose my stuff onto Twitter, my little blurbs and nuggets. I'll share those on Twitter, and then I'll turn a really good LinkedIn post into an awesome TikTok video. And then if that TikTok video does really well, I'll send it back in the other direction to LinkedIn to share with my following there. And then, if I get a tweet that works really well, I'll share that in a LinkedIn post with a screenshot. So there's just so many different things you can do, and one hand washes the other, and it just gives me so much to work on all the time. So if anyone in the audience has any interest, please contact me and let me know. I'm always happy to help, and even if it's just DMs back and forth. So just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, guys, I definitely encourage you to reach out to Dan. I mean, he and I just chatted, and it was just awesome. He's a great guy to know. I do want to touch on a couple things that you and I talked about last week. Today I saw one of your videos, and if anyone's out there thinking I can't do this, you found a great video and you duetted it or stitched it. Which is it?
Duet. Yeah. I've only done one stitch, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So the duet is where you just sit there and
I know.
And you watch someone else's video, right?
Yeah. Simple.
So I mean, how much better? Like, I need to start doing that more. Like, it just, you're giving full credit to the person who made it, and you're just coming alongside them and saying, hey, like, listen to this. I think that's so cool. It's like cheating, but it's easy creation, right?
Yeah, it's seriously, it's like the easiest thing to make, for sure. And if you kind of run out of ideas and you just want to boost somebody else up, that's my big thing. And I usually go at it with the thought that my audience needs to see this. That's sort of my always thought. It's like, this is breaking news, or like, like when TikTok started, Google started indexing TikToks. And one of the creators was talking about that. I'm like, it's happened. It's finally here. We're getting indexed, and then I got a ton of reach on that post because there is that camaraderie sense. I think that a lot of my best content has always been something where I was boosting someone else up, because people already know right away. It's very selfless. I mean, you're attaching yourself to their brand, but at the same time, you are expanding that person's reach into your audience now. It basically is. It's a TikTok's version of a retweet or a reshare or whatever. It's their own version, I guess. And I definitely think I've gotten some really great reach on those posts. And I think also too, people recognize that face and they're like, oh, I know that guy. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. Here's a like. And I've had a lot of great conversations pop up Yeah, super simple. You're just sitting there. I'll like point, or
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh yeah, like I don't ever know what to do. I'm just like,
This
I don't want to. I don't want to sit there and just stare at myself. So, I'm trying to figure out like how I can make that more value packed, but at the same time, I feel like that's kind of the point. Like you're
Yeah.
observing with your audience. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think on that one you had just written simple text on the top, like this guy's spitting out facts or something like that. And
hmm
um, so, I mean, I guess you would recommend that over, say, if you watch something that's great and you're like inspired and you want to kind of like say, like create a video and say, hey, I just saw this video and this is what I learned.
hmm
I mean, also do that too, but encourage others to do the duet thing as well, to play into the TikTok game, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say duets work really well in TikTok, and just filler content and community content, and I think you're doing it for your squad of people more or less. But um, I think when it comes to TikTok and just all the things that work the best, really, I don't know. I feel like when we're I kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry. um, so we were talking about duets. We were talking about just things that work really well when it
Yeah,
comes to actually creating on the platform. I feel like everything that's within 15 to 30 seconds long
yeah,
is pretty solid, and of course making sure that we don't greet the audience with hey guys, or hey y'all. It's like you're only talking to one
one
person,
person.
and they're looking at their phone. I mean, like,
Right.
we're not in a this isn't a webinar, and we're not like doing a keynote. So yeah, I always think stuff like that. I'm like, let's just consider where the audience is at and how they're actually living in their world right now. And I think that, here's what I was gonna say. So yeah, sharing that process, or even seeing someone's TikTok and being like, this is why it worked really well. Yeah, screencast that and then put some audio to it and talk about why you think it did really well, and then repost that onto your TikTok. I mean, yeah, there's so many different repurposing options like that. I've been seeing a lot of creators that just will take one of your videos and give you an audit really quick in real time,
Mhm.
and it's like, yeah, that's crazy great content, and it helps, and you just gave someone a free audit, just to
Yeah,
create some content, so
wins all over the place for sure.
yeah.
Dang it, I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
your second one today, so I understand.
but I'll come back to it. But you and I talked about something that I think is where it's at, and it's engagement. And I I heard. Oh well, all right. Back to the point that I'm gonna remember. I heard
I'll
someone
remind you
say
about I'll remind you about the engagement.
someone was just saying when you're making videos, talk focus it at the one person. Always be thinking about them. It's not about us. It's about them, and really just be thinking. Yeah, don't start everyone. Hey guys, it's. I think that's like the YouTube mentality, like starting every video off. Hey guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
my son and like all like kids that like whenever they make a video, every single hey guys, I swear it's so funny. um
Yeah, yeah,
but
it's a
yeah,
very
always
common
thinking
thing.
about the one person. But yeah, you and I talked about engaging with smaller creators and growing these relationships, but like I am just so intentional about like being genuine about a comment, anything I see that I like, putting a comment, encouraging them, just being sincere, asking questions, anything like that, and engaging with as many people as I can, who have a direct link to what I do or not. And I think that's the way to grow this community. And, with what you do, that's how you and I met. Um, do you want to kind of talk about your strategy? Because I know you kind of have a strategy, but
Yeah.
that's something that I've done that's just been just so encouraging, to be able to give an attaboy or, stuff like that.
Yeah, I just call it community marketing, and I think that there's a huge engagement aspect to it. I mean, like if you post about Jimmy John's on Twitter, you're gonna get a response from Jimmy John's within like a minute or two, and they're gonna send you some sassy gift back to you. That's community marketing. I mean, like
Yeah.
just the fact that I there's no personality behind any other sub shop, but Jimmy John's always has quite the personality online. So the same thing can be said for your personal brand and the way you engage with people. And I realized very quickly that the only reason that I feel inclined to follow an account with a lot of followers is to learn from them and to see what they've done and see how they've grown themselves, and I can just kind of soak up their creations and whatnot. But when I'm like really going through and I'm trying to like find new people to interact with, I'll just scroll through that For You page like we were talking about, where it's like I'll just look for the smallest amount of hearts that I can find. Sometimes you'll find one with 0, and I'm like, I got to check out this account and see what this person's about. And then you get on there and you realize, wow, they're actually creating stuff. And it's like you drop a few likes and a comment, and you're like, you just, yeah, the attaboy. You know, they got no comments on stuff, and it's like, I know that feeling. Like
Yeah.
you know what you felt like when your following was super small, or even like you just felt like no one was paying any attention to what you're saying. And yeah, so if you jump in there and offer that encouragement, there doesn't have to be any monetary gain. It's like I just want to help. I want to help you blow up just as much as I want to blow up. And in the meantime, we can also be mentors for each other, So it's like you can teach me about photography and podcasting, and I can help you with LinkedIn and vice versa. And I definitely think that the community side and the engagement side, where you actually pay attention to how you're doing stuff, like when you're on LinkedIn, when you go to someone's profile, it alerts them that you viewed their profile.
Yeah.
So most platforms are not like that. So
Right.
I'll use that to my advantage, where I'll engage with somebody, I'll comment on their stuff in a very popular post, and then I'll go to their profile, and it's like, wow, this guy talked to me, he liked my comment, and
Yeah.
he viewed my page. No way. Like, cool. And then they jump over to you, and before you know it, they're looking at your stuff. The algorithm is matching you up, and you just found yourself a new friend online that you can talk to and share your insights with back and forth. So it's very wholesome. It feels great. It's all about the camaraderie, and I really think it's the future of branding and just building a business online. You got to talk to people. You
Yeah.
got to get social, and it's been great for us, and I think anybody can benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think maybe our final takeaway is just show people that you care. I mean that goes. One of my favorite sayings is, "I don't care how much you know till I know how much you care."
Oh, that's cool.
A few weeks ago, I was on Upwork to try and hire someone to help me with the podcast, and he asked me to send him the link, and I sent him the link, and he wrote back and he said, if I'm going to be honest, I think you should just wrap it up and quit.
What?
And and then his second comment to me was, this is free advice. If you wanna send me some money for it, that would be fine too.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And at first I was like really upset, but
Yeah, I don't blame you.
the goal of this was to discuss the impact of glass, and I hope that a lot of people see it, and I hope a lot of people listen. But honestly, if someone watches what you and I did tonight and comes away with one thing that's going to help them out, like that's worth it. And hopefully you and I can grow what we're doing together. And I just want to say I appreciate you, and I'm not giving up Lens Life. I'm going to continue to do it also because I love it.
Yeah. Seriously.
You're
You're here for the process. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're here for the process.
Something also I heard on TikTok was you're not burnt out because you're doing too much. You're just not doing enough of what you love. And,
Yeah. So well said.
I do love this. And I think it's all about people. So again,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Anyone listening or watching who needs help with social media and LinkedIn, taking it to the next level, please reach out. I'm going to leave your contact information in there so people can reach you and get to you.
Thanks.
And,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great
for being here, and thanks for being on, and we will see you at the next one. Take care, guys.